Okay. Um, so first thing I'd like to say is apologies uh, for the watermark that's on the screen. Um, I have purchased Action before in the past, and I'm just waiting to hear back from the company because I lost my key. Um, so the first thing that we're going to do to set up Simulationcraft with Pawn or Stat Weight Score, whichever you prefer, um, is go to a couple different websites. The first is Curse, where we're going to click this button, and the links for all this will be in the description. This is going to download your Curse client. If you already have it, great. If not, go ahead and download that, set up your account. Then we're going to go to simulationcraft.org. We're going to head to Downloads, and right here, we're going to see Windows 64-bit, 32-bit, and Mac OS. We're going to want to click whatever your operating system is on the installer versions, or if you're using Mac, just select this one. So go ahead and install those two programs. Once you've installed them, um, you'll have Simulationcraft and Curse Client. Um, in here you can view all of your different add-ons. So I'm going to go ahead and update that. And you can get more add-ons. Now there's going to be two add-ons um, that you need. One is either Pawn or Stat Weight Score. This is what Pawn is. The other one is Stat Weight Score. That one. Pawn has actually it's doing really well now, so I actually recommend getting Pawn, but Stat Weight Score is just as well. Now the other mandatory one, well, not necessarily mandatory, but you'll see, it makes it a lot easier, is Simulationcraft. So you're going to download and install that. Okay, that's all you have to do with Curse. Now with Simulationcraft, after you're done installing it, you're going to open up Simulationcraft, and first thing I'm going to draw you over to is this Options tab, and then down to this Scaling tab. If you are looking to import settings into either Pawn or Stat Weight Score, you have to remember to enable the scaling. These are the default ones that I choose to use. If you prefer adding some other stuff, go for it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Actually, I'll leave that on just for now. And then the Simulate tab. This is where we're going to be copying stuff from World of Warcraft into in order to simulate our characters. So now we're going to go into WoW and we're going to look at these add-ons and what they do. So first things first, when you log into WoW after these add-ons are installed, you're going to notice on your character panel there's a little button to open up Pawn. This is the bread and butter of everything. For stat weights, you'll see at the bottom of the tooltip, at the very bottom, you'll see Zulfaris, a number, and then in parentheses a base number. That's Pawn. The one that's below the item ID where it says 134212 says Stat Score Elemental. That's one that I set up with Stat Weight Score, and we'll get into do that in just a second. But get familiar with this. I will be showing you how to use these a little bit later on. But first, we're going to type in /sim c. Okay. You take all this, you hold Control, and you press C. So hold Control, press C. That copies everything, okay? Then we're going to go to Simulationcraft, open that up, and in the Simulate tab, we're going to paste it right in there. Now, if you want a really quick simulation, you're switching out trinkets, stuff like that, you can go ahead and disable scaling if you're just looking to see what your DPS is. But if you're looking to update your pawn and stat weight score or stat weight score settings, enable the scaling and let's simulate. So now this is going to take just a little bit longer because you can see it's already done simulating the DPS, but now it's scaling all the different stats. So this is what adds some time to it. That's why it's important that, well, not important, but it'll save you a lot of time to disable that. So once you're done with that, the results will pop up, and right here you can see what your theoretical single target patchwork style DPS is. That's all it is. It's just your single target patchwork style, meaning no movement, no anything, you just perfect rotation, single target. And then if we look right down here, we see this pawn string. Okay, so now what we're going to want to do is we're going to select all of this, the parentheses and everything within it. Again, Control C. And then we're going to open up World of Warcraft again. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with both of these. So for pawn, what you go to is you select scale, then you select manual. Okay, manual. And then right up here, we're going to select import. And then you just Control with V, paste that right in. Okay. And this pops up right here. Okay. Now, there's something that we need to look at real quick. I'm sorry. There we go. Scale. Yes. So under here, you're going to see Zulfir. It'll have your name, scales, and then there'll be the one that you just imported, and then an additional ones for your talents. You're going to want to go ahead and disable it. Like you can see here, how there's all these ones. So there's elemental enhancement, restoration. I've already disabled them, but just to show you what it looked like, we're going to re-enable these. So we don't want to show these scales in the tooltips. These are just basic scales that Pawn default comes with. So we're going to disable each of these, and we're going to make sure that the ones that we imported are showing. Okay, that's what makes in your bags when you're scrolling over a piece of gear. So for instance, this ring, that's what makes it so at the bottom, where you see that arrow and everything, it shows the actual stat weights for you, rather than what Pawn default comes with. Those are bad stat weights. These, good stat weights. So that's how you use Pawn. It's very simple. Now for stat weight score, you just go to Interface, Add-ons, down to stat weight score, hit the plus, stat weights. You're going, can't talk right now. You're going to want to click Create New Spec. Right here you can name it whatever you want. So if it's for an elemental spec, whatever. Make sure this is enabled, and then we scroll down to import from pawn string, and then you paste that right in there. You say accept, and excuse me, there we go. So those are your stat weights. So that's how we use that. Let me think if there's anything else we should go over. So those are the results. Simulations. I think that's it. So that's the basic gist of it. This is the best way of understanding, if an item is going to be an upgrade for you. But the one thing I will note is it's not going to check for instance, this Whispers in the Dark trinket. It doesn't understand what the equip effect is. So you'll have to, for trinkets, tier items, so for like 4-piece, 2-piece, items that have effects to them, you just want to equip it. So an example of that would be equipping this trinket. Do a /simc, copy that, go right into Simulationcraft, paste it back in, and this is where disabling the scaling comes in handy. So we don't have to wait all that extra time. You can just hit simulate, and then a couple seconds later this pops up. So as we can see, as opposed, and up here are these tabs where it shows all the different results that you've had. As opposed to that other one, we're losing about 20,000 DPS. So that would be bad. Um, so that's how you can check that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was a learning experience, and um, good luck.